Many of you may are in a confused state after seeing the H-1B visa fees increased to $100,000. I get it. It feels disappointing, even discouraging. For many, this feels like a door being slammed shut. But let's pause for a moment and look deeper. This isn't the end of opportunities. It's more like a speed bump, not a roadblock. And sometimes, these bumps push us to think differently and prepare for what's ahead. You have to recognize why President Trump was faced with making such a tough decision. I agree that the way it was communicated could have been much better, with more advanced notice and clarity, but the underlying reasoning deserves careful attention. If we look back 25 years, American universities were producing far fewer graduates in technology and management fields. At that time, the H-1B program made a lot of sense because there was a genuine gap between the number of jobs available and the number of qualified U.S. candidates. Bringing in highly skilled foreign workers helped fill that gap and kept American industries competitive. However, the situation today is very different. Over the past 5 years, U.S. universities have significantly increased their output of technology and management graduates. Yet despite this surge, the percentage of these graduates securing jobs in their first few years after graduation has remained very low. If this trend continues, we risk creating an environment where U.S. graduates are left without viable entry-level opportunities, leading to stagnation, frustration, and ultimately a failure to retain American talent in critical industries. From a national perspective, that's not sustainable. If American graduates cannot find their first foothold in the workforce, it weakens the long-term pipeline of homegrown talent and leaves the country overly dependent on external labor. An administration that ignores this would be failing its responsibility to protect and promote opportunities for its own citizens. So while the rollout of this decision could have been handled more thoughtfully, the policy itself stems from an important recognition that ensuring U.S. graduates have fair access to entry-level jobs is essential for both the country's economic health and its future competitiveness. It's important to remember that the demand for skilled technology professionals in the U.S. is not going away. In fact, it continues to grow year after year. Even though the number of American graduates in fields like computer science, data analytics, and healthcare IT has increased, it still falls short of meeting industry needs. Companies across sectors, finance, healthcare, retail, defense, and manufacturing, are undergoing rapid digital transformation that requires engineers, data scientists, cybersecurity specialists, and healthcare IT experts at a scale that U.S. universities alone cannot supply. This mismatch between supply and demand means that, despite policy shifts, the long-term outlook still points to a massive need for skilled tech talent. Immigration policy often reflects the political climate and economic trends of the moment. One administration may tighten rules or scale back visas, while the next may ease restrictions or expand pathways to attract global talent. These cycles have repeated over decades, sometimes responding to economic downturns, other times to labor shortages or political sentiment. What is restricted today often gets rebalanced tomorrow, especially when business demand and market forces make it clear that foreign talent is critical for maintaining innovation and competitiveness. In that sense, current reductions should not be seen as permanent, but rather as part of a recurring cycle where policies adapt to short-term pressures while the long-term need for skilled professionals persists. Let's put this in perspective. We've seen H-1B slowdowns before, after the dot-com bust in 2001 and the financial crisis in 2008. Each time, the program bounced back stronger. Historically, Indians have been the largest beneficiaries of H-1B visas, often accounting for over 70% of approvals. Even with a dip, Indian professionals continue to dominate the program. Beyond visas, India's role in global IT services and outsourcing ensures that Indian talent remains at the very center of U.S. tech growth. And here's the key: upskilling is your greatest advantage. Focusing on areas like AI, cloud computing, cybersecurity, healthcare IT, and advanced analytics increases your opportunities, not just in the US but globally. Think of this situation like turbulence on a long flight. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's bumpy, but the destination hasn't changed. The plane is still on course. Indian talent has always been resilient, always adapted, and always found new routes to success. This moment is no different. Focus on building long-term skills, strengthening your network, and exploring alternative opportunities. The setback may slow things temporarily, but it cannot stop your journey.